Good morning on what is going to be a bright, warm and sunny day. It is Sunday, July the 3rd, and I have a nice hot cup of tea. In fact, I have a nice hot cup of biscuit tea. And a box to basically open a box. And this has got a special box because it has been sent by a friend of mine who is kindly supporting my unboxing and reviewing efforts. So if I can just get into this box, there we go, slide that in there. Just what we've got in here is a lot of little things. Now, every year, the industry gets together and does a free RPG day where it releases, goes through the free RPG day organisation. It's like free comic book day, but it releases small, quick starts, previews, excerpts, and so on for role-playing games and the hobby in general. So. You just have a look to see what I've got in there. Now, can't see very much in there because it's a little plastic, but I'm going to do a preview this morning before I get into looking at each of the individual items. So the first thing I've got now, what I don't have is any of the model kits. I'm not too bothered about that. You know, I can write about this a bit, but not really very much. But so for example, we have. Level 1, this is volume 3, this is the third tome that 9th level games has produced this little tome. Now, if you've got any one of these, it will keep you gaming for about a year. Okay, not on a continuous basis, but on an occasional basis, because you can dip into it. It's full of little games. Some of them good, some of them bad, some of them okay, some of them interesting, some of them not so interesting. You will be able to find something that you'll want to play and try out in here, something that will make you think about, about your gaming and what it can do outside of the norm. It's mostly storytelling type games, and that's a good thing. Basically, most storytelling games don't last very long, and this you can play each of these games once or twice to really get a good feel for them. So yeah, essentially this is the contribution from the indie side of the hobby. Let me see what we've got next. This is Homeworld Revelations, which is the latest license for Modifius Entertainment. It's a tabletop role-playing game, Odyssey Quick Start. It's going to use the 2D20 system, the latest science fiction game. But you'll expect to see the full role-playing game appear in due course. Next we'll go from this. Okay. Not quite sure what these are. Doesn't say who they're for. Basically, they're little character sheets for various characters, and he doesn't tell me what they're for. Because they vaguely look like Cyberpunk characters, but there's no manufacturer's name on there whatsoever. So I'll come to those and have a look at those at some point. Beneath that we have Curse of the Dreadmarsh Crew. We're ready to play mini adventure from Nook battle mats. Now you see me do unboxings of the Nook battle mats and you see how good they are. I mean, they're really nice squared battle maps which you can essentially put together to create different scenes and encounters and so on. And this gives you a complete adventure and a battle map on which to play. So there we go. Cyberpunk Easy Mode, an introduction to the dark future. This is the quick start for Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk Red, current iteration of the role-playing game, published by Artel's Games. That we have Epic Encounters, Bridge of the Duragar Cult, which is from Steamforged Games, best known for doing basically complete encounter kits, or essentially scenarios that come packed with all of the adventure, all of the miniatures, and the battle maps. So you have everything essentially. You can put it down on the table. You've got visualization and tactical play as well, all on before your players. So yeah, it's a complete adventure in here. This is before Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Then we have Root, the role-playing game, Talon Hill Quick Start. Now this is from Magpie Games, and they do these quick starts for Root, the role-playing game. Root, the role-playing game is an anthropomorphic role-playing game of vagabonds going from essentially clearing to clearing in the woods, amidst the aftermath of a civil war and an invasion, and the tensions between the occupying and defending forces and those caught in the middle. And this is the third quick start I think that Magpie Games has done for this. So you really, if you've got a copy of the core rules, you can take this away and run that as a clearing on its own, or just get a taste of the game in each one. So beneath that we have a familiar problem. Now this is just a one sheet element, so it's more sort of like advertising than anything else, but you've got like a one-page kind of role-playing sheet there. That's from Darrington Press. I'd be interested to see what that's like. Next, the Three Wizard Conundrum, which is a 5th edition, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition scenario from Goodman Games. Goodman Games is one of the perennial supporters of Free RPG Day, constantly bringing out content every year, and it's always good. Some years they've just put out the quick start, but that quick start for the quick start for Dungeon Crawl Classics. But that quick start for Dungeon Crawl Classics is great, because essentially you've got complete rules, or a cut down version of the rules, and 2 adventures, giving you everything you really need to play. Give a taste of the game. It's a very full little introduction to the game. So yeah, and so talking of Goodman Games, the next thing underneath that is Danger in the Air, which is the release for Dungeon Crawl Classics. Always, every year, as I say, Goodman Games support this, and the great thing about this is this is always in high demand because people absolutely adore Dungeon Crawl Classics, and it's really got its devotees. I thoroughly recommend getting hold of one of these, because it's Sunday the 3rd of July, and I'm going to play this tonight, so I'll actually have an idea of how it plays when I come to do a proper review, so I can't even look at it. And we have Free RPG Day adventure for Strange Light Breaks, which is for the Iron Kingdom setting from Privateer Press. Essentially that is it's the 5th edition version of essentially the 5th edition role-playing game of Privateer Press's Iron Kingdom setting, which is sort of like steampunk and fantasy combined, and which originally came out in sort of like the early 2000s, early noughties, with the Witchfire trilogy, which if you can find it, I thoroughly recommend you track it down because it's a really good series of adventures. Still very, I'd love to see a 5th edition version of it, but mostly Privateer Press is known for the wargaming version of Iron Kingdoms, but it's returned to the role-playing game setting more recently. And then we have Starfinder Skitter Warp, which are the continuing adventures of the 4-armed creatures, essentially the equivalent of goblins in the Starfinder setting, from Paizo Press, and again this one is always popular with at Free RPG Day. And lastly, Bloom and a Fistful of Flowers, which is the fantasy offering for Pathfinder, again from Paizo. And again, another short adventure that you can quickly bring to the table and give a taster. Now, this is almost everything. There are 1 or 2 bits I don't have. That's fine. I will track those down. You know, there's a complete guide of the up and I think it's the roll and up or which I'd like to get hold of, and there's the how to paint miniatures thing, which is always fun to kind of look at because it's actually I don't do any of that. I literally don't know. It's not because of I do have a vaguely interest in painting. I just don't have the space all the time, to be fair. But yeah, so all of these will be, all this big bundle of stuff or things will be reviewed in due course, and this will keep me going for a few weeks. It's July 3rd. The Americans have already had their free RPG day. That was on June 23rd. For everyone outside of the USA, free RPG day is July 25th. So yeah, I do thoroughly recommend that you. No, I got it right around. It's the other way around. Sorry, they had theirs June 25th. Theirs is July 23rd, something like that, I think. So I do recommend you find your nearest friendly local gaming store, if you have one, and check out the offerings on the day. All of these will be available for participating game stores, and you should be able to find something which you can bring to the gaming table relatively quickly, and with limited amount of preparation. So yeah, that's all of my forthcoming reviews for Free RPG Day, starting soon. I'll also be doing proper unboxing videos of all of these, of course, but this is just a preview. And lastly, I do want to thank David Salisbury at Fanboy3 for sending all of these to me. It's very generous of him, and I'm really grateful that he is supporting me and my writing and the reviews and of course the unboxing videos in this way, as essentially as where I live. His store is actually the nearest participant in Free RPG Day in 2022. So yeah, thank you very much. And if you're in Manchester at all, then on Free RPG Day, do check out his store. It is very friendly, has a fantastic stock. I'm not kidding, because I go there usually once a year for a convention, and I'll usually spend money there because it's got there's always something in there which I don't have, or I'm missing, or I want to write about. So I come away. I don't spend. I always come away with something interesting. So yes, thank you very much. So I hope you've enjoyed this preview of the forthcoming Free RPG Day 2022 unboxings. If you have, please do click on the like button down below, and if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box and typically one thing which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks again for watching. Have yourself a nice hot cup of tea, and I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.